Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Hope you had a great day. We can't wait to see you again next week at our in-person youth group. If you remember last week at our in-person youth group, we opened this series called Flip the Script, where we're looking at what it really looks like to follow Jesus. Remember, we said that as a follower of Jesus, your life should look radically different than other people who don't follow Jesus, right? And we said that if the only thing that sets you apart as a Jesus follower is the fact that you go to church on Sundays, well, you're not actually following Jesus the way that he wants you to. So today we're going to continue that discussion, and we're going to talk specifically about something that I'm really excited about, because we all have something that may be different for every single one of us, but something that if we can set straight and get right, it'll set us up to flip the script and follow Jesus the way that he wants us to. And that is our priorities. You know, priorities, it's defined really as something or someone that you deem as more important than something else. So like when you're sitting in class and you're really hungry, but you really want to listen to the teacher, but you're still really hungry, right? In that moment, you have to choose: am I going to prioritize listening or food? And a lot of times you choose food, right? But in our lives, we all have things that we prioritize over another. Let me put it this way: priorities are things that we value. The things you value the most, you prioritize. The things you value the most, you spend the most money on, spend the most time thinking about, spend the most time with it. Those are your priorities. And like I said, everybody has priorities. But the thing about following Jesus is that Jesus even wants to flip the script on your priorities. So what that looks like is something that I'm going to explain to you this way. A lot of times in life, you see people prioritize their life this way. And I'm going to call this the priority pyramid. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. But so you have things like your entertainment down here. That's pretty low on the rung, right? Your entertainment like Netflix or video games, whatever it is. Things like sports, whether you play sports or just watch sports, you have those things that they're your priority too, right? And then you have things like school, right? That's a priority, right? We all want to graduate and get good grades, that kind of thing. Then you have your friends, right? That's a priority. And then you have your family. That's always a really big one. And so a lot of people, that's their, if you don't follow Jesus, that's a lot of times your priority, right? Sometimes you have more, sometimes like family's on the top here and there's other things, but everybody has this like pyramid of priorities. And what I'm afraid a lot of Christians have done is like they have their priorities like this in this pyramid, and then they just place Jesus on top and say, well, Jesus is number one, and then everything else comes after that, which is nice, right? That looks nice, and it sounds nice, and it's great. But the problem I see with this is that a lot of times when you have a pyramid priority, a priority pyramid, a lot of times what happens is that sometimes things will kind of take place over another. So like sometimes your family will come before, or sometimes even it's school, right? And your priorities can get pretty out of whack, and you have your pyramid all lopsided, and a lot of times Jesus ends up being down here while your other things, because it's like hard to balance things and give everything equal time, right? You got to give Jesus as much time as you give your family, or you got to give your schoolwork as much time as you give your friends. It's hard to balance all of that. And I think that Jesus may be calling us to live a little bit differently. So you see here with our priority pyramid, there's nothing wrong with a priority pyramid, but like I said, sometimes it's hard to keep all your priorities and juggle them all at the same time. So what I think God is calling us to do is this. Like, so we get rid of this pyramid, and when we have our priorities, and we just, we have the things in our life that we do, and then we come to Jesus, and Jesus just takes over. So what I mean by that is, so Jesus doesn't just want to be the top in your priority pyramid. Jesus wants to be the lens through which you see things. So if you see here, you see Jesus, you see the name Jesus, but you also see family. So Jesus is the lens through which you see your family. That's what Jesus wants. Things like school. School's great, but if you see school through the lens of Jesus, school becomes a mission field, right? School becomes a way for you to share Jesus with your friends. If you see things like, this is a good one here, entertainment, things like Netflix, those kinds of things. If you put your priority of entertainment, which everybody prioritizes entertainment sometimes, if you put that under the Jesus filter, right? Then the things that you watch and the things that you consume, right? We're going to talk about that next week. The things that you listen to, the things that you read, those should all be different than what other people do for entertainment, right? Because we're seeing things through the Jesus lens and not just through this priority thing of, well, Jesus first, and then if I have time for this, and then time for this, and then I flip it around sometimes and it gets all crazy, right? Jesus doesn't want that for your life. He wants better. He actually wants to be your lens through which you see life. Jesus doesn't want to be your number one. He wants to be the one in your life. Everything you do, everything you say, everything you think, through the filter of Jesus. And so today I just wanted to challenge you. I wanted to ask you, is this how your life is prioritized? Is this the way that you prioritize things in your life? Do you think Jesus is in all and everything? Everything I do is through Jesus and in Jesus. Is that how you live your life? Or are you just trying to juggle the pyramid? So if you need to talk about that today, if maybe you feel like, you know what, I do want that. I want Jesus to be the filter through which I see everything in my life. Well, then DM us and we'd love to talk to you about that. And if maybe you feel like you need prayer for something, maybe you're like, you know what, I've been prioritizing something that shouldn't be prioritized. DM us and we'll pray for you. We'll get together. We'll call you. We'll FaceTime you. We will connect with you so that you can be prayed for and you can feel like you are following Jesus to the best of your ability. This is the most important thing, I think. We're going to talk about some other ones over the next few weeks, but when you prioritize Jesus in this way and let him be the filter through which you see everything else, your life is going to change the world. See, pyramid priorities, those don't change the world. But using Jesus through the lens that you see everything, doing it that way, that's going to change the world. So think about that this week. And I can't wait to see you again for week 2 of Flip.